Hey, I'm Kahler, automotive photographer, and today I'm going to be teaching you some tips on how to shoot your GTI with a smartphone.
This is episode 1 in a series by Volkswagen, How to Shoot Your GTI.
So today I'm going to be using a smartphone that's one of the most popular on the market, but whatever smartphone you have, I think the first essential trick is to ensure that your smartphone is in the best possible mode. Currently we are in JPEG, so we're going to be converting this to RAW and 48 megapixels, which just gives us a little bit more to work with in post. The second thing we're going to be doing is enabling the manual exposure, which just gives a little bit more control over the camera. And then the third point is that we're not going to be using the wide angle lens because it distorts the car and makes it look strange. So we're only going to be sticking to ×1, ×2 and the ×4 lens. So the first thing I'm going to do is something we often shoot for PR, where we're just going to be focusing on hero shots of the car. So side profile, front shot, rear, 3/4 front, 3/4 rear. So just really nice simple compositions, and then later on we're going to get into something a little bit more creative.
We're going to start with one of my favourites, just a nice clean side profile. Using the rule of thirds, we're going to keep the car framed on the bottom line of the rule of thirds, so I like to put this through the centre of the wheels a lot of the time, leaving quite a bit of space around the car so we can crop a portrait and a landscape in post-production. Okay, so jumping into the rear 3/4, applying exactly the same as we did for the side profile, but this time we're going to experiment with different heights. So I'm going to go a little bit lower down with the camera angle, which is just going to make the car look a little bit more aggressive, just gives it a nicer stance. Another one of my favourites, just a dead front on, nice and simple. We're going to shoot this one in a landscape, have plenty of negative spaces left and right, which we can use later on. Going to keep the car on the lower third line, and I'm going to go nice and low, which just gives this car a really nice sporty look, but we've still got the background. Moving on to one of my favourite shots from the day actually, so this dead rear. The car's filling most of the frames, there's slightly less negative space, but I really like how the fog's rolled in on the trees in the background, so I just wanted to be cropped in a little bit more for this one. And I'm going to actually go with a slightly higher camera angle. Just found that the wing mirror positioning looked a little bit odd when the camera was low, so this is the main reason why I'm a little bit higher for this one. Moving on to the interior, something that often gets overlooked, but there's plenty of details to capture in here, and I think it's really nice to show this cockpit. So I'm going to start with a really classic angle, a driver POV. So first thing I'll do is recline the driver's seat, jump in the rear passenger seat, and we're going to get a camera positioned exactly where the driver's head would be. So we're keeping the wheel center in frame, otherwise it will be distorted. So really nice and simple, but it's great to show the driver's perspective.
So now we've completed all the safe angles, we've got all the exterior angles that I wanted to capture, and we've got a nice safe POV, which is sort of a nice clean interior shot. We're going to start working on a few details, starting inside, and then we're going to go onto the exterior. So just working with the car's features, all the nice textures, materiality, all those kind of things.
Starting with this really nice badge on the dials. So we've got this nice texture and a GTI logo. It's a classic one, but I think it's a really nice one to capture. Materiality is often overlooked as well. There's lots of different textures and shapes in the interior of this car, so I really want to capture this Alcantara and this nice GTI honeycomb on the seat. Another interior shot. This time we're going to shoot from outside using the window to frame our shot. So I really want to capture these GTI logos on the seats and just show that seat profile. Moving on to some exterior details. We've got the classic red line across the grille and the lights, which is a very GTI feature, so I want to capture this in my series of images. So we're going to have the GTI logo in the center, and this is going to be cropped as a much narrower landscape. I often like to capture some other details of the landscape around, not just the cars, so sometimes it's textures, but in this instance it's going to be the forest with the nice foggy landscape. I'm going to use this in my final set of images. Just tells a little bit more story about where we're capturing the car. Front 3/4. This is a very classic shot, often used in PR and marketing, so it's normally the go-to image that gets used as the hero. So a really important one to get right, using the rule of thirds, keeping the car in the lower half. Plenty of sky, a little bit of floor, but lots of negative space. And I think it turned out really nice with these raindrops.
So now we've finished editing my set of images. Rather than posting to social media just one image at a time, I like to do something what I call posting composition, where I arrange the images in a particular way which helps build some storytelling or set the environment that we're in. And I think it just elevates your overall set of images. It just looks nicer. So I think this is a really easy way just to take things up just one more notch. So I'm going to jump back on my phone now. I've sent the images here, and I'm using an app called Unfold, although there's plenty of other versions out there, or you could use Photoshop or something like that.
Hopefully my tips have given you a little more insight into composition while shooting your own GTI.